Hello, this is a war between NATO and CSTO. We're going to start off with what's already happened. Right up here. So Russia already owns all of this, or has conquered it. So we start off with Sweden and Finland already want to join NATO, so they will support and help the side of NATO. If I can find them. Where did we put them? Okay, Sweden's right here. My mice won't be as slow as this. Alright, start going. Restoring. So we're not going to use nuclear bombs in this war because no one wins the nuclear wars. Okay, it's up here. Okay, Finland. So even though Switzerland and Austria like NATO, they can't join because they'd rather stay neutral in these wars. But Kosovo also wants to join NATO, so we'll add them, and also Bosnia and Herzegovina. Over here, Armenia declares war on Georgia, and Azerbaijan. So Russia already owns this area. And while it's happening, China takes their own chances and decides to go to war with Taiwan. And also, North Korea declares war on South Korea. Also, that also pushes Japan in the war. Take a second. Quickly, just do a quick at this. Almost done. So North Korea, make red. And a second. I was thinking of putting India on a side, but India probably would never pick a side because India has a really good relationship with Russia and with USA. So India also would not want to join because of Pakistan. Pakistan would probably go on the opposite team of India, no matter what. But I have a feeling this would happen right here. So Iman will join the war and declare war on Oman. We're almost done this. I'm not gonna add like Australia and New Zealand just because I would not really see these the dots, almost impossible. But I could say that they're also in this war. Australia and New Zealand declare war on China. I won't show them because I'd like you to see Europe more. But I'm gonna say the Philippines joined the war with NATO. Well, I think that would probably be it. Oh, wait, Saudi Arabia would probably support Iman and declare war on Yemen. I just need to have a second here so I could put them on because I will not color it in manually. That would take way too long. I just gotta find it. Should be in here somewhere. Where are you? Saudi Arabia. There. Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I'm not very good with this little area geography, so I'm not going to add them. Also with Africa. I think that Africa would probably stay out of this. The only one I would ever think would ever join this war would be Egypt. Maybe South Africa. I'm going to leave Brazil out of this. Also, because Brazil probably wouldn't want to go to war. Okay, here we're going to start now. We're going to start with the push, because we already know with the war in Ukraine, and Russia already is militarized, so they get their early push. And they are fully mobilizing their troops, so it'll be way easier to wipe out Ukraine. And surrounding Kiev, or months of siege, it goes down. Same with the Baltics. They would probably struggle due to the force, but holding off okay. After NATO is starting to send troops to align in Poland, align in Slovakia, and align in Romania to hope to slow this down. With all the troops there, they start to hold them off or stop the push, and to wait for the USA and Canada to come. The thing to underestimate here is that South Korea is a little more powerful than North Korea with their advancements, not by troops, by technology. So they get a little bit of a push before China makes it. Well, also with Japan supporting them, but Taiwan's captured immediately. In Saudi Arabia and in the Middle East, we have the very fast push into Yemen. Both sides push.
Did you hear me yelling at you, Ethan?
Yeah.
Was that funny?
continuing to push into it, taking Yemen pretty fast. Finland is holding their ground, and now Chinese troops are getting sent to North Korea, which is terrible for South Korea, because China is fast, and USA is kind of more focused in Europe right now. They will send a little bit of aid over there temporarily. Hey, for a bit, but oh, come on. They push, and I'm holding here. South Korea has fallen, but Japanese will hold off the waters for quite a bit. Armenia is already surrounded and is taken quite easy. Oops. Can't color Turkey that. Give me a second. Okay. But Russian troops start pushing down into Georgia and Azerbaijan falls, and next Turkey. I mean, not Turkey, I mean Georgia. Okay, so I'm not gonna color them back red because Armenia is fallen, so I'm gonna just color a conquered area. And they start pushing into Turkey. Now US is fully mobilized in Europe, and their goal is to push them back. They slowly will push them back into their own territory. They take here and Belarus. Now Belarus is losing almost all of our people. And they start their little push up around Moldova, and go around. Oh crap, oops, that's the wrong color. Okay, color that. Here. With this, Russia is now fully focused in Europe and leaves Asia to China. While all they need to do is try. Oh, okay. Now they're gonna start doing something called blitzkrieg, which is something called surrounding the player in giant groups and making them all surrender. Like here, you can see that they go right around and then make these people surrender, and now Russia just lost a lot more troops. Then also USA goes around here, cuts them off, and take Crimea away, give Crimea back. But Russia is not giving up, and Russia has planned a massive invasion. Their last chance, pushing them back, and hopefully They can wipe enough troops to keep going. They start their push fully mobilized with their outdated technology. Well, mostly outdated technology. They still have some pretty good technology. And they do the same trick and they start surrounding their enemy. Getting into Romania, going around Moldova, and pushing out. They go around here. They kick NATO out of out of Belarus. And fully push out here. Saudi Arabia starts going to Turkey. Going around. But soon they start running out of steam. So they can't quite push no more. Then Russia has started to fall again. After they're exhausted of pushing, and a lot of their soldiers are already kind of upset they're in this war and they don't really want to do this, so they kind of start giving up. They're fully kicked out of the Baltics, and oops, that was my fault. What did I do? Okay, there. Fix that. I'll lose on this war. And they started to go through Belarus again. Belarus starts to fall, losing almost all their land. And they have a full campaign up right here. It's one of the biggest wars, called the Battle of Kiev, which holds for a long time, but fortunately they do win the war and go through. They also go up through here, going up, and Belarus falls. Ukraine is restored. Almost having their entire old border back. So the only goal right now is this is USA's goal, which would probably make Russia surrender. Here, this is their capital, right here. So get that, Russia surrenders. And they started pushing Turkey. Turkey starts pushing back the Russians. taking them fully out. In the Middle East. Oh, that has to be blue, light blue. Oh crap, wrong color. After they start now they have two lines, one in Georgia and one in Ukraine and Belarus. They start pushing through those two countries. Their first goal is to kick Russia fully out of Ukraine, which they do successfully, and then hold a line for a bit. But China makes a landing in the Philippines, which was successfully, and takes the most northern island. But China takes this island, but southern Philippines stay untouched. And then the big push starting early in Azerbaijan, and start pushing up, taking a lot of the oil down there. And they then later they connect with the next line, which starts in Ukraine and Belarus. Finland pushes, tries to cut a lot of the nuclear bombs off, which are all up here, or most of them are up here, and take them. So Russia loses almost all their bombs. And then Estonia, Latvia make a line together and connect with the Belarus line. Slowly goes around. Start entering into Kyrgyzstan. We're getting kind of close. Then China starts sending troops, which slows them down a bit. But China's still more focused with their navy, trying to get trying to get naval superiority, which would probably be bad. Will be bad for China, because if they don't help Russia, Russia will fall, and that will give NATO a big border with China. But then it starts trying to circle, which gives this little area right here. And now the Battle of Moscow starts. Russia makes a little bit of a push down here, but that tires them out almost fully. And they slowly push Russia closer and closer until they surrender. Russia, now seeing their inevitable defeat, troops start losing hope, Over time, a lot of the country starts falling. And Japan takes their island back after a long time of it being owned by Russia. When this happens, Japan and the United States and Canada plan to make a landing in South Korea, which goes successfully, pushing them up. And after pushing for a bit, they bring the government back. They bring their government back. And they split them in two, taking North Korea and barely pushing into China. And they continue to push up here, and then Russia falls and surrenders. There. And then Kyrgyzstan wonders why they're even fighting this war and will surrender. See me a second to find it. Right. They also decide to surrender. And Kyrgyzstan. With them, Tajikistan is split in two. Oops. Split in two. And surrenders after this first half is fully conquered. Now this massive line, NATO's troops rush to make a front line, and China, surprisingly, China still isn't surrendered. And slowly they push in here, and all the troops have planned to make a massive landing in China. They take the entire coast, or if they take the entire coast, their economy will crash, and they'll win the war. They start off with getting their land, give Philippines their land back, which is really hard, but it worked. Taiwan was harder because it was already very militarized by China. Their landing starts getting fully planned as they slowly push up here, and they plan to land it. Just push to the max, and then make a second landing here, and a third landing up here. One landing failed right here. The massive landing was successful, and the smaller landing was pushed back. They rushed to link with the smaller group, which they did in time, and they made sure, and they started pushing a little bit in to make sure they get all the populated places. And while they slowly try to cut them off in the actual world, well, China kind of stands no chance to the 40 countries that are fighting along with NATO. 40 countries with NATO. now. And with this, China starts to think if they should surrender, which makes USA and the rest of NATO pretty happy. And they connect here, take this small island down here, and they can't quite trade. They can still trade with a lot of these countries down here, but not for long. They're kind of cutting along here. And they convince Mongolia not to trade, India not to trade, but they can't trade. Myanmar will keep the trading, and they try to surround, cut off China from trading with Myanmar. And it successfully was. Full blockade. Nepal agreed to not to trade, and same as Bhutan. Pakistan is also pretty good friends with USA, so they decided not to trade also. And leaves China no choice to surrender. So, with this new borders, we have Korea reunited, and Ukraine. You can just look here by yourself, these new maps.
What?
Yeah, here, this is all new borders. This new country here, be Ivory. Wait, 1 second. 1 second. These are new borders here. United, United, yeah, new country, United.